Right, welcome to the Survival Debrief. I'm Steve Kelly, your host. I am a UK survivalist. I've done Naked Alone and I've managed to do Naked and Afraid twice. I'm also just retired from 23 years service in 29 Commando Regiment. And I tell you what, I'm absolutely buzzing today to have the first ever UK survivalist to take on the Extreme Survival Challenge, Naked and Afraid, the wild man, Jamie Frizzell. How are you, Jamie, lad? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in Scotland. How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm all right here. Just absolutely buzzing to get you on here. I know you're big time now in the UK with the Survivalist, so it's good to get you on here and get a 5 minutes of your time. But I wanted to just get you on here and just talk about what goes on behind TV. How did it come about that you being the first person ever from the United Kingdom, being the flag bearer, setting us up for us all, people like myself, Sam Mauser, and my wife Jenny. What was it like, and how did it all come about? So. How did your first challenge ever come about? And when you got offered that opportunity, did you think it was real at the start?
Aye, so that we're going back to 2019. So that's what's 5, 6 years ago. And me and you didn't know each other back then, I don't think. And so it was back in 2019, and I randomly got an email. I think I set up a YouTube channel, and then about a month later, I got a random email from a casting company in Los Angeles, just telling me about Naked and Afraid and saying that they'd like me to be on the show. And if I'm honest, I've never heard of the show before getting that email. So when I heard Naked and Afraid, I thought, these are just my pals winding me up. Do you know what I mean? This is my mates just winding me up. But I thought, what have I got to lose? I set up this YouTube channel to try and, get out there in the survival industry. And I thought, we'll send an email back, see what happens. So I says, aye, let's go for it. And they sent me loads of footage from the show. They sent me more kind of information about it, and that's how I was able to determine if it was real or no. And from there, they just started the casting process. They started, you know what we need to go through to be on the show. They started all that, and it materialised.
Tell you what, absolutely crazy as well. And I've been a massive fan of the show for over 10 years. When it started, 13 years. So I used to watch EJ Snyder go in there. I've been watching all them types of people from the very start. And I actually applied for the show back in 2014. I went through the whole casting process. I was meant to go back in 2014, 15. Then I had to go away with the military, and then I never had the opportunity ever again. And I applied every year. No one ever got back to me. And I think you going out there, you setting the bar nice and high, you went and done absolutely amazing in the challenge. Your first challenge was in Africa. I remember you had a Canadian girl. She struggled after a few days, and then you merged and you done absolutely amazing. And I think you set the bar for the United Kingdom, which opened the door for all of us. But getting out there, Jamie, getting out there, and you've went through the casting process now. This is real now. What was going through your mind when you're stripping your clothes off, throwing your clothes in the back of a truck, and then going into the out in the bush in Africa?
So you know this yourself when you do your first challenge, they brief you and they let you know that there's probably going to be quite a few people there when you're taking off your clothes for the first time. They're going to be watching, they're going to be on their phones doing things, they're going to be writing things down, they're going to be filming you, and you get told, don't worry about it. They're not, they're doing a job, they're professional, they do this all the time. Just forget they're there and just take your clothes off. It sounds even weird just saying that. But because mine was a tribes challenge, so there was 4 survivalists involved. There was a huge amount of crew there because there had to be essentially 4 groups, four crews. So there was about maybe 20 people in front of me when I was taking my clothes off for the first time ever. So it was a wee bit scary, man. But I just thought these people do this all the time. They see so many naked people. They're just working. Do you know what I mean? This is their job. So it's nothing to worry about. It's not like you're in your hometown just taking your clothes off in the street. Do you know what I mean? It's totally different. So it was a job, and it makes it a wee bit more comfortable, but it's still a bit weird taking your clothes off in front of 20 strangers.
Yeah, mate. Here, Like, I've done it there, mate. I done it in up in Scotland, and there was no Blair on that on national TV, and there was
Not a chance. You wouldn't catch me doing that, man. Not a chance.
and there was a lot of people there standing in front of me. And when I done my first challenge in Colombia, exactly the same. Then even worse when we were doing Apocalypse because it was a new show. There was so many producers there. I think there was at least 50 people there. At least
Aye.
50 people here on the Apocalypse, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then obviously you go off into your own ways and go and do your own things and all that type of stuff. Then you're out there raw survival. But talking about your challenges, like I said, you were the first person. You had a massive opportunity. You took it with both hands. Now looking back to Africa, is there anything what you wish they showed on telly, which they didn't, staying within your NDAs? But is there anything wish that you done? You caught an animal, you made an amazing trap, anything like that you wish you did, or you wish they showed?
So I'm quite happy with what they've shown. It was a tough challenge, but there was some good times in it, and they can only show so much, you know. But I have noticed that there's different versions of the show throughout the world. So the US will have a different version from the UK, and then Australia will have a different version. South America will have a different version. I actually got sent a clip from someone from Australia showing me the part where I was ordering a pizza. So I must have been out my mind. Do you know what I mean? Just it must have been like late on in the challenge, and here's me like pretending to phone a pizza, and I was like asking for all the different toppings and all that. So they showed that in Australia, but they didn't show it in the UK or America. Uh, so I imagine most of the challenge has been aired in some parts of the world, you know. But
Yeah.
there was a really cool time in the challenge. It was quite early on. But I was just out with a bow just to try to do a bit of hunting, and I found a cave, but it was like right up on top of a cliff. So I had to like scale this cliff. It was vertical actually. I thought to myself, this is probably the most dangerous thing I've ever did. I'm climbing vertical up a cliff with no shoes on, with no clothes on. But I thought it's TV in it. Let's try and make some good TV. So I went for it, and every ledge that I would come up to, I thought there could be a bloody snake up here, man. I could like lift my head up and just be met with a snake. But I kept going, and I made it up to the very top of this cliff and went inside the cave, and I had a GoPro on my head, and I was like filming inside this cave, and I wrote my name on the wall with a rock. They didn't show any of that, but I mean, that was a pretty cool time. It's a bit pointless to show it because nothing came out of it, but I mean, it was just a cool wee activity that I done one day.
And
But
I always think this, I like what you're saying there, you've done amazing activities, but they can only fit so much in. They're trying to make a TV show. They can only fit the best bits in you. You might have scaled a cliff, which you're going to remember that for the rest of your life, and you've gone inside a cave. Your name's going to be in there the rest of your life, but they can only show so much, and it's hard when you've got fans watching the show, and they're always questioning, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? I'm not
there
sitting
was a
around.
there was a really cool bit that they didn't show. At least I don't think they shown was it was the last night. Actually, it was day 20, and I was down the river. I think I was trying to catch crabs or whatever, and it just downpoured like a storm rolled in and it absolute hammered it down. And me and Jess was doing it the stream. So anyway, we ran up. The fire was completely out, completely gone. It was flooded, and I forget now, but I managed to get this fire going. I must have had a bit of dry tinder sitting in my shelter somewhere, and I struck it with the fire starter. It took a bit of finesse, but I managed to get a fire going, and it was absolute downpouring. So that was quite a cool moment. I had a GoPro on as well, so I don't know if maybe I didn't turn it on or something because it's quite a cool bit of footage that they should have shown in the episode, but they didn't.
Yeah, mate, that episode was really good. I remember when you finished that and you were like the little sweetheart, weren't you? I remember on your episode you doing press-ups in front of the camera, then you done that big walk on your own because obviously Beverly dropped out. Was that her name, Beverly? I remember
Aye.
the Canadian girl, she dropped out, and then you met up with Jess and her partner, and then he ends up dropping out. And you just absolutely smashed it. You always had a positive mindset. You built a nice little shelter, a nice little boma. You started making it a seat well. Yeah, you made some shoes out of a carcass. You used the brain and you made a cloak, keep you warm and all that. And I remember you doing all that type of stuff. And it was an absolutely phenomenal episode. And I believe that was the premiere of that season, wasn't it?
Aye, I think it was like an hour and a half long or something, or it was an hour and 50 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
Aye, it was quite a big show.
Do you know when you took on that challenge, Jamie, and you finished it? Right, you just took on a huge, huge challenge, getting dropped off in the outback, in the bush in South Africa, and you've done 21 days and you get extracted. What's going on in your mind?
Extraction was amazing. A storm rolled in, so it was a pretty mental day. But I knew at the end we were going to finish. We were going to have everything we want in terms of food, drink. So it was a great day. You know yourself, extraction is the best day by far. But there's a lot going through my mind because there's a huge hike and anything can happen. One of us could fall,
Mm.
especially during a storm. And we had a close encounter with a warthog as well, so it's
Yeah.
pretty dangerous, man. But we just kept on going, and then there was a wee funny bit actually. We got to so we're following this map, right, and it's quite self-explanatory, right? It's no like real maps. It's quite a dumbed down version of a map, so it's really easy to follow. And we managed to follow it to where the extraction was. So when we got there, the crew started saying, "Right, Jamie, so look at the map, look round about you. Does this like it could be extraction?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is extraction." And they're like, "Right, okay, look round about. What do you see?" And I'm like, "I see trees, I see rocks." I didn't know what they were trying to get me to say. The reason why they were saying that is because the truck was supposed to come round the corner and we were supposed to see the truck, but the truck actually crashed. It crashed down a ditch and went straight down and straight into a tree. So they had to phone another guy to go and get another truck to bring it over. So we were standing about for a good half an hour, 40 minutes. And we didn't know this until afterwards, after when we were changed and we were at the after party. But in that moment, I was like, "What the hell's going on, man? If I went the wrong way, am I at the wrong location?" I couldn't work it out, but that's what happened. Aye.
Oh, mate, that's brilliant. That, and I'd say, and obviously you smashed it. You and Jess made it to the end, which is absolutely amazing. And I remember speaking to you a while ago after your after party, and you had Jamie and lights for you and all that type of stuff. Or was that one of your other challenges? Was that the
That
guy
was my
one?
that was my solo challenge. Aye, in the jungle.
But getting on to that, all right. So you completed your 21. Now you've done four challenges. Now you've took on some of the harshest challenges on in the planet. You've been from Africa to Guyana to the Amazon to Australia. Now over your four challenges, what was your hardest location and environment and why?
They're all hard in their own way. Every place has its own dangers and things like that. The hardest place, without a doubt, is probably the Amazon. Like where I was in Peru, it was just unreal. You even ask the survivalists that lasted the whole time, the 40 days or the 60 days, whatever they picked. Even if you ask them, they'll tell you that was by far the hardest location that has ever been done on Naked and Afraid. The crew was even saying, like some of the big time crew members were saying that it was worse than the time that they did that Alaskan one in the cold.
Yeah, yeah.
They said that the Peruvian Amazon was just unreal, and I think it was because of the bugs. I don't know if it was a time of year or maybe the bugs are just always like that, but they were just absolutely insane, man. The whole crew was getting bitten up as well, and they're obviously using, you know, mosquito spray, and still it's not doing anything. Everybody's just getting eaten alive, and of course that's how I ended up getting sick and having to go to hospital. So by far the hardest place was the Peruvian Amazon.
I know it's funny when you talk about insect bites because me and you've spoke about this quite a lot over the years. Me and you are all blood group. And the science behind it is mosquitoes and biting insects love the scent of old blood group. And I remember you saying you were looking about getting blood transplants, sucking all your blood out and getting another blood into your body. And sometimes I've thought about that over the years. I've thought like that over the years, especially being in the military. I've operated in loads of different types of jungles and they're relentless with clothes on. When I got dropped off out in Colombia, it was the same scenario again. I'm in a jungle environment. I'm looking at my partner, she's got a few bites, and I'm getting bit to shit. They're eating the hell out of me. And what I found the hardest throughout the challenge was it's just your mindset, it's just staying in the zone. And I'm getting bit, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna bite them little insects back, and I'm like, biting them, and it was just constant, relentless, relentless, relentless. But obviously, you got sick in here, the Amazon jungle. You were brave enough to take on another challenge, and you went solo in the Guyana jungle. But I think people don't understand this. The Guyana is still the Amazon. It's just a different part of the Amazon. The Amazon's a vast, vast jungle, just different parts of it. So you're going back into the Amazon. You went back into the Amazon on your own. And what I watched over, you absolutely smashed it. I always have the memories back when you thought you killed the frog, and I think that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Where you stab the frog, you're half asleep, you lie down, and I'm watching on telly, and the frog just starts hopping away, and you thought a snake at it in the morning. But how was that challenge on your own for 21 days in the jungle?
Aye, so you're right in what you're saying. The Amazon spreads right across South America. It goes through, I forget how many countries, but it goes through loads of different countries, and it hits Guyana as well. So I'll touch on everything you just said there. But as soon as I came out of Peru and I went to hospital and I recovered, I was straight on the phone to David Story, the executive producer, and I said, "Get me back into the jungle, because I don't like not finishing something. So I need to go back and finish it. I need to go back and give it a good try." Uh, so I says, "Give me the jungle again, and don't make it easy for me." So they put me in there solo. They just put me in the jungle solo, and to see if I could do it, and I did. But yeah, the jungle was difficult. And the frog, especially the frog, man. So I was sitting one night. I was sitting just on my bed. I built a raised bed, and I was just sitting there chilling by the fire. It was a nice night, and then a frog just came out from under my bed and jumped on the fire. So I quickly grabbed its back leg, and I kind of hung it up like that. And this thing was huge. It was like well over a foot long when it was hanging by the foot. I thought, fucking hell, man, I'm going to eat this. But I thought it's a wee bit dark. I don't really know what kind of I don't know what it is I'm dealing with. I know it's a frog or something like that, or a toad or something. So I thought I'll just wait till the morning. So I'll kill it so it doesn't run away. And it doesn't really show this on the episode. It shows me trying to stab the frog. Now I've got in that episode I've got a bolo machete, and if anyone knows what a bolo machete is, it's a machete with a rounded edge at the top, where the tip should be. It's completely rounded, so it's blunt at the top, and it shows me trying to stab this frog. Now, I did try and stab the frog to begin with, and then I realised I was using a bolo, so I turned it around and I just kind of sawed its neck. Uh, and I swear I felt all the air leave its body. I thought I killed it, and I put it under my bed, and I'm getting excited. I can hardly sleep because I'm excited about eating this big frog the next day. And then I got up and I look under my bed the next morning, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? There's nothing there. And see that way where you're looking, but you can't believe your eyes. You can't. So you keep looking, and you're like, it's got to be here somewhere. And I'm looking under my bed, and I'm like, the fuckers ran away. What the fuck's going on here? I'm thinking maybe. So in Guyana, you get the biggest spiders in the world. They're called Goliath spiders. They're
Yeah, yeah.
also they're also called bird eaters,
Bird
bird
eaters,
eating
yeah.
spiders. So they eat birds and everything. They're fucking huge, man. So I thought maybe one of those got it, or maybe a snake's got it. And for the whole challenge, I didn't know. The crew obviously knew what had happened, but they didn't. They don't talk to you when you're on the challenge, so they didn't tell me what had happened. So all throughout the challenge, I thought something stole the frog, maybe a snake. And then even when I got back home, until it was like a year later that the episode aired, all that time I was thinking that this snake had eaten my frog. And when I seen it on the episode, that was the first time I ever knew what happened to that frog. I couldn't believe it, man. The whole world was laughing at me. I was laughing and all because it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, me and Jenny watched it and we couldn't stop laughing the way they done the edit and then zoomed in. So it was like boom, zoom right in. You see this little frog just hopping out of unit, having his best life. It's like he's just had a little massage with your knife, then just got here, then hopped away and just cracked on with the rest
Oh
of it.
man.
Now we
Imagine the stories he's going to tell his pals.
he's telling all his mates, let's go and all go and laugh at Jamie in the jungle, and then let's all just bounce away because he can't do nothing with his knife. Absolutely brilliant. But here's another
Aye.
question I want to ask you as well. Now, is there anything on the challenge, any scary moments where you've come across any dangerous animals where it never shown on camera, or you think you were going to die, or something was going to attack you on any of these challenges so far?
So I believe I believe that I'm a wee bit delusional when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'd love to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm scared of animals," but I'm no. In Africa, like I wasn't scared of any animals at all. Um, at night time, you would hear some questionable sounds, and the baboons would come down and start shouting at you and stuff. I would stand up and I would just start shouting at the back. I even joked with Jess one night. I says, see if a baboon comes in here, it's not getting fucking back out because I'm hungry. And I was just joking about that kind of stuff. And I seen a big snake, a big Cape Cobra in
Yeah,
Africa, and I chased it into the long grass. Again, I was hungry. I was going to eat it. Uh, and I've seen snakes in Australia as well. What are they called again? Taipans, the most venomous
yeah,
snakes in the world. Like one bite from that, you're done. There's nothing anyone's gonna do, man. You're
yeah.
done. Uh, so I'm a bit kind of delusional when it comes to animals, or a bit stupid. But one thing that does scare me, and it's a horrible feeling, is the weather. When it starts raining and when that wind starts picking up, that's when I start to get scared. I'm not even going to lie, man. Like the fire can go out because of the rain. You could end up getting hypothermia. That happened to me in the jungle, and I guess that's where that fear comes from. I had a few cold nights in Africa, but then I almost got hypothermia, or I probably did actually in the jungle. So I think my biggest fear is probably the weather.
It's funny that I like because I'm opposite. Like the weather doesn't bother me. What does bother me the weather is the sun. I don't like the sun, but there's ways and means how to get around that. But when it comes to rain and winds, I'm quite content. I'll manage to find a way to survive. But animals do freak me out, mate. When I was in Africa on Apocalypse, the lion encounters, the crocodile encounters, the elephant encounters, the hippo encounters, then the black mamba in our shelter, and obviously the black mamba is the second poisonous snake in the world behind the tapir one. What you were talking about, the one in Australia, it's the second poisonous snake in the world. One bite from that, you're dead within 15 minutes without anti-venom. And that came in our shelter, and that's what freaks me out, the unknown. The unknown of what animals can do with it, can just switch and turn on you and just striking and you're done. But talking about other challenges now, like I said, you've took on Africa, absolutely smashed it. You took on the Amazon, you went back, smashed Guyana. Then they invited you back to take on the hardest challenge in the world, last one standing. How did that come about? And how was it feeling getting a call up to represent and go out there and try and be last one standing?
So I think you'll know this yourself when you go on your first Naked and Afraid challenge. If you do well and you're good on TV, then they'll ask you back, and they'll pretty much ask you back every year. So I've been asked back every year since then. Um, Even though I've not been a part of every show every year, I've been alternates where I've flew over and stayed at camp just in case someone's tapped out. So I've always been a part of every show and every year. And so it was just regular. They just called me up and said, "Do you want to go to Australia?" In fact, actually, I was casted for South Africa, the Apocalypse show that you were in. We were both casted for that. So I was preparing myself for South Africa, and then I was in bed one morning. I think it was like 4 in the morning or something like that, and I got a phone call, and it woke me up, and I was like, "Hello, who's this?" And it was David Story. And he said, "Hello, Jamie. I'm sorry. I don't know what time it is in the UK, but would you want to come to Australia tonight?" I'm like, and I'm thinking, is this a dream? I'm like, what? Are you for real? I'm like, what do you mean? Like Australia tonight? And he's like, aye, we're having some problems with last one standing. We had to let a couple of people go, so we'd like you to fly out today and come and meet us in Australia. And I'm like, what's is this going to affect South Africa? And he's like, probably. And I'm like, and see that way where you're put in a position where you think I could say no and be in South Africa in maybe 2 months' time, or I could say aye and just go to Australia tonight.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
of course, I had to agree. I jumped on a plane and I went to Australia with not even a day's notice. I landed in Australia, and the very next day was insertion. I was put out there for last one standing. If people don't know what that is, it's basically it's naked and afraid. You're surviving, but every couple of days, you all gather and you all complete a task individually or in groups. And whoever is the last one standing at the very end, which is like 45 days, you win 100 grand. You win $100,000.
And I tell you what, Jamie, you went out there, last drop of a hat, went out there, drop of a hat, and you went on there until you dropped, mate. And I remember watching it back. You were pushing it. It was quite hard with your team members, all trying to have the same mission and same mindset. And you literally went on there till you collapsed and got dragged out of there. It weren't nice to see that, but it was good to see you were willing to throw yourself in the deep end, and nothing was pulling you out there till death. Till death do us part on the challenge, and that was your mindset. And you were go, go, go every day. And I loved watching the challenge. You came second on the first fire challenge in the water. You had a good little bit of banter with Stephen, and me and my missus always remember when you had that communication barrier with Suzanne. Do you find any items? And that was always being the funny point on that challenge. But looking back on last one standing, how hard is it?
It is very hard. Very, very hard. Because, I mean, some people might find it easier than a normal challenge. It just depends what makes you tick. But I prefer just I prefer just surviving. You know yourself, there's a lot on your mind when you're surviving. You have to make sure you're warm at night, you've got a fire, you've got shelter, you're dry from the rain, you've got food, you've got water, you've got all that good stuff, you've got good morale, you've got energy. But then if you throw in a task every couple of days where you have to leave your camp and go and complete some stupid task, and then also compete against people who you once saw as friends, as like companions in a way, it just brings a whole different dynamic to the survival game. It is very, very tough, and it's I'm probably not even explaining it properly right now. I think you just need to go out and experience it. You need to experience what it's like to survive, but then go and compete against each other every couple of days. It's a strange dynamic, especially when you've got people like Patrick floating about, stirring the pot, stealing people's items, talking shit, telling lies, spreading rumours. It's a strange environment, so it is.
I tell you what, though, Jamie, you done absolutely amazing considering you only had a day's notice. You went out there on your shields, which was spot on, and you never came last. You were up against it from the very start without being prepared. Probably still had sleep deprivation. You've just done a 24-hour flight. You're probably still a bit dehydrated from being on the plane and a bit drowsy. And you went out there, mate, and you were on the back foot from the very start. And I think you've done yourself proud. But we're coming towards the end of this podcast now, so I've only got a few more questions for you. Uh, if you got offered to go back out there on a challenge, if you got a phone call today, would you go back out again?
100%.
Why?
100%. Because I don't say no. It's the same way when I get that phone call about Australia. Even though my heart was set on South Africa, me and you both knew what we were getting involved in. We knew it was an apocalypse. We knew
Yeah.
the whole concept of that challenge. So that was exciting. It's never been done before. But then all it took was one phone call. Do you want to go to Australia? I said aye. I just never turned down a challenge, no matter where it is, no matter when it is. I'm always ready. I might not, I might not complete it. I might end up in hospital, but I'll always try my absolute best.
No, honestly, kudos to you, Jamie. You've absolutely smashed it out of the park, and I'm like that. If I got a phone call tomorrow saying we need you this time tomorrow night, I'll be on the first plane because I'm like that. I just always want to push myself. I want to test myself as a survivalist. I want to learn. You learn off everyone as well. You can always learn extra skills. I learned so much from my first partner, Sonny, on my first challenge. And then on my last challenge, I learned how to fish from Miranda. I learned so many traps and different stuff from Wes and how to hunt for scorpions. I learned how to different types of fishing and bushcraft from Teal, Stephen it was absolutely brilliant, mate, and you can always learn. But like I said, we're coming to the end of this challenge now, and what I was asking people on every podcast is give us 3 top tips. You've only got a few minutes left. If I was someone I want to get outside more, want to learn some bushcraft skills, just want to enjoy the outdoors, 3 top tips for someone today to start being outdoors tomorrow.
But don't overthink it. Just think about. Depends what you want to do. If you want to go out and do proper bushcraft and survival, just think about the basics. What do you need? You need shelter, fire, and water. That's 3 things right there. As long as you can conquer those 3 things, brilliant. A lot of people think, oh, I need to know what to forage. I need to know what berries I can eat and I can't eat and how to do this and how to do that. Don't worry about that. Just go out and build a shelter. Go and practice building a shelter and then mess around trying to get a fire going. It's just fun at the end of the day. Just don't go out and put yourself in danger when you don't really know what you're doing. Just go out into your local woodland, have a mess around, and see what you can do. It's all about practice. So that's one thing. Just take it easy, take it step by step. Another thing is to it's all about mindset. All right, you've got to keep a level head. So your mind will be the first to wander. Your mind will go before you become dehydrated. So keep your mind strong and always stay positive as well. And that's about it.
Oh, Jamie, that's absolutely spot on. I like saying near enough the same things. A lot of people overthink it, getting outdoors. Just get a little bit of backpack on, get some water in your backpack. Don't overthink it. Go to your local woods and just practice building little shelters, playing with your fire strikers, and just enjoy it. And then obviously progress when you're feeling confident with the basics. You don't need to know 100 plants on day one. You know what a dandelion is, you know what nettles are. There's your first bit of foraging. Then you can build up from that going forward. But I just want to say, Jamie, honestly, thank you very much for taking your time out and giving me 30 minutes of your time and getting on here and chatting to me and the viewers. And obviously, we're good mates, mate, so it's been a good bit of catch up. But what I want you to do is let anyone know where about can they follow you across social media if they want to see your future life within the outdoors and business.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. It's been great. And yeah, if anyone wants to follow along, I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I don't really post so much on YouTube anymore, but my handle is all the same. It is Wildman Frizzell. All right, and I'm sure Steve will tag it in the description down below. But my tag is always the same, Wildman Frizzell. I'm always posting on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you'll get some old school videos on YouTube if you want to watch them. Have a right good laugh at what I used to look like with a beard.
Oh, Jamie, honestly, it's been absolutely spot on. Viewers, I want to say thank you very much for tuning into the survival debrief with the wild man. Like I always say at the end of these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and go and share the
Michelle,
video with
here,
10
come here.
people. Are we getting Michelle in?
Aye, come on, Michelle, come on. Come on, jump in, jump in.
We've got to say a quick hello. We've got 3 minutes left.
Ah, there she is, there she is. Yes.
Hello, Michelle.
Ah, there she is.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Just had a nice little podcast with Jamie.
Oh, get my Winnie the Pooh on.
Yeah, look at that. But honestly, being absolutely
Enjoy.
having you, Jamie. Honestly, much appreciated, mate. Like I said to you, make sure you subscribe and go and give the Wild Man a follow. And I'll speak to you all soon. Peace out.